Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. If I'm a little tired and disheveled, I apologize. I've been up pretty much all night running medical calls. It's been an unusually high volume call night for medical calls, and I think I squeezed in maybe 2 hours of sleep since midnight, maybe if I'm lucky. But it goes that way. Those of you that's worked volunteer, fire and medical service, you know that's just how it goes sometimes. You're just busy. Anyways, I do have this video. I ask that you just stick with me. If you've started watching it, stick with me. I understand that in some ways this may not pertain to directly you, but this is a very important video. Some stuff's going on here in the state of Missouri that you Missouri people need to listen. And the rest of you listen because you can help out also. There is some pretty nasty shenanigans going on in the state capital here in Missouri. So I don't do this hardly ever in a video because I know that a large majority of my, or just probably at least over half of my listeners may not even be based in the state that I live in. But just hear me out on this one. So there is a Senate bill that's gotten passed, Senate Bill 727. Remember that number, and I'll repeat it, 727, Senate Bill 727, the Missouri State Senate, that is going to the House, and they're going to try to get this passed. Now, the bill has a bunch of stuff in it. You know how bills in Congress go. They have a bunch of garbage in it. Someone attached a little clause, little amendment or whatever to this bill that it would be one of the most radical changes in homeschooling, freedom, liberty, Second Amendment that's seen in just about any state, even comparing to very liberal states. And I'll get into more about what I know, what I have found out about that, but let's just cut to the chase. So what they're trying to do in this bill, and again, this bill is for something totally different, but this attachment in the bill will legally redefine homeschool. So if you homeschool your children, it will legally redefine your home that you teach your children in as a school, and it will make it a felony to have any firearms in that school. So what that means is that if you homeschool your children and you keep your personal firearms in the same house that you're homeschooling, you have now committed a felony. Let me repeat that once again, just so that everyone is clear. They've added a little clause that will change the wording and the legality of what a homeschool is to define it as a school. And then it will make it a felony if you keep your firearms in your home and you're teaching your children in your home. Now, of course, Missouri's a super conservative state, but someone has attached this in, and honestly, from what I've heard, I've got some very good sources that work in with people in Jeff City, which is our state capital. And they're saying that they didn't even know that it was in the Senate bill. No one even knew it until after it passed. And then someone just discovered it through reading. They're like, wait a minute, this stuff was attached. What is this? So if you're in Missouri, you need to be getting a hold of your representatives and tell them Senate Bill 727 is that line. You do not vote on that. Do not pass that. That is a big red no. And stop it. Now, if you're not in Missouri, you can still, maybe you have friends and family, people that you know in Missouri, you need to let them know. No one's talking about this. This is the thing. No one is talking about this because it was just kind of slipped in. Even if you don't have any contacts whatsoever in Missouri, you can still get on Facebook groups, homeschool, if you're on homeschool groups, Second Amendment groups, comment on YouTube videos. If you're watching some other YouTube video, you can make a comment and say, hey, everyone stand up against Missouri Senate Bill 727. It's trying to, take guns out of homeschools and, whatever you want to say. This is absurd. I don't know the exact name or the organization that got this in, but there's some research being done that they think they can figure this out. And and I don't want to give away too much information on here, but there's a lot of money involved in this. We're the people that are, I'm not directly involved in the political process. I just know friends that are. Let me make that clear. I'm not directly involved, but I know people that are, and I've talked to them, and I told them, I'll make as much noise and raise a big stink as I can on here, because this is serious. If they can get this passed in Missouri, which is one of the reddest states there is, they'll get it anywhere. This will set a precedent that's absolutely absurd. You're homeschooling your children. And also, what the worry is that by redefining homeschooling as a school, then now it opens the door for the government to come in and tell you what you can and can't do in your school. And I know some states are pretty restrictive, but a lot of states like Missouri, there's very little restrictions and legislation in regards to homeschooling. And this is going to open that doorway. But from what I've heard, that there are several very conservative people in Missouri State House that they've pretty much been paid off on this. I mean, I know I'm making an audacious claim, but in the people that have been communicating, trying to alert them on this and say, hey, you got to stand up against this, they just shut the conversation down. They don't want to talk about it. In fact, there was some pro-Second Amendment advocacy organization they reached out about this, and they said, no, we don't want to deal with this. We'll just let the bill pass, and then we'll deal with it after. That's an absurd way to deal with this. This is serious. I know that we talk about all these other things that's going on, New World Order, blah, 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 illegals, money, everything else. But these are the things that they're doing. When I tell you that we have to be cautious of all the loud noise that's in the news or it's in social media that's captivating our attention, we have to be careful, because there are things going on behind the scenes. The real work, the real destruction of our freedom, of our liberty, is happening behind the scenes. And this is one of them. And thankfully, some good people found this out. And they're all volunteer. They're not like, getting paid lobbyists, anything like that. They're advocates for liberty. And they're trying to do everything they can to shut this down. And they need all of your help. So you need to, find out the information of, if you're in Missouri, see who your state rep is, who your state senator is, and just burn up their phone lines. And then if you don't live in Missouri, anyone that lives here, contact them, beg them to call. And then I would start making comments, homeschool, Second Amendment groups, anything like that, Patriot groups, social media that you're on, and let them know what's going on. You should be able to do a search, Missouri Senate Bill 727. There is a little bit, I've seen a few people starting to post things about it on Twitter or X or whatever it is, and probably Facebook as well. But there is definitely a big money lobbying movement behind the scenes, very quietly, to get this thing passed. I've lived in Missouri my whole life, and I've been told many times that while Missouri is very conservative and typically quiet, meaning, on a national stage, you don't hear much about Missouri. Like if you don't live in Missouri, you probably hardly ever hear anything about Missouri politically. You always hear about Texas and Florida or California, New York, or, the liberal states. But what they typically do, these far left liberals, is they will try to get things passed in Missouri. Missouri is one of those states that if they can get something passed in, then they know that they can basically get it in any conservative state. And this is most likely one of those situations. And they got it through the Senate bill, through the Senate, without anyone even noticing it. And there's been a lot of conversation to conservative congressmen, conservative state reps, And they're saying, no, the other stuff that's in the bill is so important that we need to just pass this. And they're not seeing how insanely important this is. Now, some of you, especially for you folks in Missouri, you're going to say, yeah, but we have that Second Amendment Preservation Act. That won't apply to this situation because that SAPA Act that Missouri passed only applies to federal gun laws. It will not apply to this. And I know that there's also people that's going to say, yeah, but it'll probably get, killed in court and everything. There's no guarantee of that. To sit back and just say, well, if this thing gets passed into law, maybe we can kill it in the state Supreme Court. There's no guarantee of that. And the way it's looking, nearly all, or at least a large amount of the conservative, not the rhino, but the actual conservative Republicans are saying that there's so much other great stuff in this bill that they can't not pass it. They have to pass this bill. And so this has to be shut down. Your guns and teaching your children are two of the most extreme, fundamental, serious liberty issues there are. I don't care what other kind of funding, what other kind of stuff there is. There's not too much. There may be a few things, but not really much that's more important than that. And this needs to be shut down immediately. So I'm literally begging you. And this is not I don't do this kind of stuff, but this is serious. And whoever the people that I've talked to, they're not yet sure what money is behind this. They're still trying to figure that out. The way it was done, it looks to be very, very shady, sneaky. But there's a lot of money behind this to get this thing passed, and it's up to folks like you and I. You know me, I'm not big on the political process. I rarely talk about politics. I'm certainly not going to tell you to vote for it because I'm telling you the whole political process is pretty much rigged. And this is another example of that. But it's very likely that if you get out there and just burn up those phone lines, if you're able to go to Jeff City, which is the state capital, go there and you can go in and you can meet with your congressman, you can meet with others and personally tell them, go to their office, even if they're not there. Go to their office and leave a message and tell them who you are. Be polite, but be very firm that this absolutely will not pass, cannot pass. And if they vote for it, you will do everything within your power to see that no one ever votes for that person again. This is very serious. Again, they're wanting to, they slipped this in. I'm going to repeat it just last time before I get off here. Some organization slipped in a little clause into a random bill that this has nothing to do with, that homeschooling in the state of Missouri is redefined as just a school, and that it will be a felony for you to have your own personal firearms in your home if you also teach your children in your home. This is big. We've got to shut this down, and I'm asking for everyone that watches this to do something, even if you're not in Missouri, even if you're not in the United States. Most of you are probably on some type of social media, some kind of something that you can post something, that you can bring awareness to this, because you never know who else might find it, and just it can spread. But it needs to be done fast, because this bill is coming up in the state house, the state representative, the Congress side, soon. So this is something you need to start today. Do some research. That's Missouri Senate Bill 727. Missouri Senate Bill 727. And let's burn up the phone lines and get this stopped. This is absolutely absurd. Folks, I'm going to try to get some rest, but I think it's just going to be a heavy coffee day for me. We need to get our houses in order. We need to be, they're coming after us. That they've made that quite clear. If you're a Bible believing, traditional, family, moral kind of person, a patriot, they're going to come after you one way or the other. And all the signs are showing that. So you need to get ready. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.